I am going to complete everything in old school RuneScape from scratch starting as a level 3, which means Max Cape, Inferno Cape, Quest Cape, Diary Cape, Music Cape, Champions Cape, all pets, collection log, combat diaries for the Zuk helm, best in slot everything, a maxed out POH, buying all bank slots, league trophies, quest speedrunning, and whatever else Jagex and my viewers can throw at me until either the server shut down or I die in real life. We have already made some insane progress and the channel has blew up because of it. If you haven't seen episodes 1 and 2 already, there will be a playlist link in the description for you to watch this from the start. In the last episode, I took part in a clan agility event and grabbed my first graceful recolor from Brimhaven along with the pirate's hook. Not only that, but I also got my first pet too, being the giant squirrel. After that, I got 99 woodcutting, completed some quests and got the fighter torso, fire cape and dragon defender. I then trained at ammonite crabs to raise my combat stats, which got me a ton of fossils, which I exchanged for XP lamps. I put all of them into Slayer. I then completed some more quests, including a Theatre of Blood run for a Night at the Theatre quest. I then knocked out a bunch of skill and requirements for further quests. One being Slayer, which made us a decent amount of money, unlocked us some nice combat tasks and collection log slots. I was pretty broke, so went to Bandos with some friends and we got a Tacit's drop, which paid for some of the buyable skills. After that, I knocked out some of the Grandmaster quests, being Dragon Slayer 2, Monkey Madness 2, and Song of the Elves, amongst others, unlocking me the Quest Cape. One thing that kept coming up in the last episode was the lack of GP that I had. Being a main account in the mid game, a lot of my progress is tied to how much GP I have. So my game plan going into this episode is to make money and go for a pet at the same time. However, before I can start that, a whole bunch of updates and changes was thrown into the game, so I have to get some housekeeping done first. Just a couple of days after getting my quest cape, Jagex added a new quest into the game. I did this a few hours after the release, and it's a decent quest, no dialogue and a bunch of puzzles, and it's a nice 10k farming XP too. Jagex also buffed the XP rewards that you receive from Master and Grandmaster quests. If you've already completed these quests, not to worry, because you can reclaim this lost XP from various NPCs around the game. The first being Purdue, who gives the bulk amount of the XP. I got quite a few levels from this, which was a pretty nice dopamine rush. Next is Radimus Urkel, I think that's how you pronounce his name, in the Legends Guild, who gives some more XP lamps. You can put them onto combat skills or some other skills. I chose agility. Next is the Mysterious Stranger at top. He gives a bit of combat XP. I put this lamp into strength. Now the next NPC is a little hard to find, so I'll show you a quick way to get there from the top bank. He's just in this basement here, which isn't too far away. This is an XP tome that can be put in any skill above level 60, so I chose agility again. I would have chosen rune crafting, but I'm too low level at this point, and this also got me 82 agility, which is pretty nice. After grabbing those XP rewards from previous quests, it got me thinking about other XP rewards that I could claim, so I went to the Varrock Museum because sometimes after doing quests you can claim kudos and further XP from Historian Miles. Turns out I still had one XP lamp that I forgot to claim and it went straight into rune crafting. After that I went to good old Tears of Guthex and got myself some more rune crafting XP. A quick tip for this, by the way, if you aren't sure when you can next claim the Tears of Guthex, you can open up the quest and it'll tell you at the bottom. Anyway, I then went to Hesperi and because it was only my second kill count, I got a Kronos seed. Normally it wouldn't be worth mentioning, but it is a collection log slot. Another small bit of housekeeping was taking out the GP that I had left in the servant's money bag from the last episode. Every single bit of GP is going to be used for this pet hunt that I'll be doing in this episode. I sold off multiple items from my bank and could just about afford a blowpipe, which is going to be one of the main items that I need. So I'm going to be money making and going for a pet at the same time. Keep in mind that I'm somewhat in the mid game, so I can't camp many boss pets at the moment, at least efficiently, but I have come up with a spectacular plan that not too many people actually go for this early on in an account. My plan is to go to Soul Wars. This is a mini game that gives out spoils of war as the rewards. Each spoil of war has a 1 in 400 chance to spawn the pet and also contains a ton of other supplies. If you were to use this method I'm about to show you, then you can get the Soul Wars pet in around 30 to 35 hours on rate. This also makes the pet one of the fastest in the game and it also makes a good amount of cash, so you can see why I've chosen to do this. Now there are many ways to play Soul Wars, the most popular being boosting with clans, but there is actually another method which is more efficient, more consistent and lower effort. The content creator No Monkey has a nice guide on how this is done, but I'd like to signal boost this method and I'd also like to show you that you don't particularly need the most efficient gear to get started. So for this method you are going to need 2 accounts with a high enough range level for the blowpipe on both. Here is what I was using on my Completionist account. Now the best in slot here would be Elite Void, but I haven't got that yet. Now obviously an Archer's Ring, Pegasians and an Anguish would also be great upgrades, but I'm broke and that's why I'm doing this to money make. In the inventory, you're going to need a rune crossbow, or if you have the money for one, a dark bow is actually the best in slot, and I'll explain that later on. You'll also want runes for telegrab. On the alt account, it's basically the same best range setup with a blowpipe, void being best in slot, but honestly downgrades to dehide and whatnot isn't going to slow you down a whole lot. For the inventory on the alt account, you don't need telegrab runes or the dark bow or rune crossbow. You just need either a dwarven rock cake or a locator orb. The locator orb is better because it's just easier to use, but I appreciate that not everyone has an alt account that has Dragon Slayer 2 done. Now, before you start doing this method, you're going to need to set up a couple of things. The first one is you need to do the Soul Wars tutorial. It doesn't take very long. The next one is to show your Avaz device to Nomad in the lobby. This is because when you go into Soul Wars, you are forced to wear a cape like Castle Wars. So if you show your Avaz device to Nomad, he will give you that Avaz effect of picking up ammo to your minigame cape. The next bit is to join your own friends chat on both accounts. This is the friends chat, not the new clan system. Make sure that each account is in its own friends chat. On your alt account, set your quick prayers to protect from melee and eagle eye or rigor if you have it unlocked. On your main account, you can do the same, although protect from melee isn't needed until the very end. When you're ready, geared up, and in the Soul Wars lobby, you're going to see 2 zones. We are going to be using the zone with the purple door. Have one of your accounts challenge your other account. Once you accept, the game will start. So this is where you're going to start the grind. You'll spawn in your team's lobby, which has bandages and potions. I would recommend that you swap the left click option on both benches to take 5. Grab 5 of each on both accounts. The reason you want to grab bandages is because they actually give 30 run energy, which is going to be super useful if you don't have 90 plus agility. Now on both accounts, run towards the center of the map. On both accounts, you want to drink a potion which boosts your stats. On the alt account, it's time to get down to 1 HP with your dwarven rock cake or your locator orb and turn on your quick prayers. When you get to the bridge, go right of the bridge on both accounts. Each ghost in this area is going to drop 4 soul fragments. On your main account, you want to grab roughly 12 fragments, and on the alt account, you want to grab 16 to 20 fragments. You can mix and match, but as long as you have at least 28 fragments total, you're fine. When your main account has 12 fragments, run towards the center of the map. The reason you want to be stood here is because you're capping the center of the map. This unlocks the soul obelisk for your team. As soon as you have 28 total soul fragments and your main has started to cap the center section of the map, you want to bring your alt account within firing range of the main account. You do not want to bring your alt account onto the center island because it will then prevent your main account from capping. Anyway, from here, use your rune crossbow on long range to take out your alt account. The reason a dark bow is better here is because it's guaranteed to hit. But another fun fact is you can just use iron or steel arrows for this and it'll still be 100% chance to hit over 1 HP. With the rune crossbow, sometimes you end up hitting a few zeros in a row which can slow you down. Once the alt account has died, you want to telegrab the soul fragments that you've just PK'd. On the alt account that is now dead, you want to click the portal and get ready to leave the game, but don't do that just yet. So on the main account, wait until you fully cap the center area and use the soul fragments on it. This will weaken the enemy team's avatar. Now make a run towards the enemy's team base, put on protect from melee, repot if you like and use bandages if you're low on run energy. Once at the boss, re-equip the blowpipe and start damaging the boss. You want to do 300 or more damage. When you've hit 300 damage, you can end the game, but only do that after the 12-minute and 10-second mark. With my gear and setup, I was finishing a game around the 11-minute and 50-second mark most times on average. And so that's it. Every 3 to 4 minutes you can claim 19 zeal. Each spoil of war costs 30 zeal. There are also 2 other collection log slots that you can get here, including the ectoplasmator and the soul wars cape, which is best in slot for prayer bonus. Okay, so now you have a rough idea of the method I was using to start grinding out this pet. So I'm just gonna show me opening up the crates now. I was usually buying around 10 crates at a time. I would have stacked up like 100 crates, but I had a feeling that if I did that, I'd end up getting a pet on the 10th crate and would have just wasted a bunch of time getting the rest of the crates. I was able to get around 11 to 12 crates per hour, and so this means you can expect to make around 900k to 1 mil per hour before supply cost. At the start of this grind, I had about 500 scales and darts, so I needed to sell off the loot to buy more ASAP. If you look in the bottom left of the Soul Wars reward shop window, you'll see the lifetime zeal. To go on rate for the pet is about 12,000 zeal. In the beginning, I was essentially spending the entire profits to fund the blowpipe, but after a while I was able to buy my first upgrade, which was some dehide boots. The drop table for these Spoils of War are actually quite strange. There's quite a few troll drops, being some bones, cabbage, and one soul rune drop. There is also the dragon drop table, which is pretty rare to land on, but adds a lot to the value of them. The best drop outside of the pet is probably the normal soul rune drop. You get around 500 to 600. These have gone up in value quite a bit over the past few months because of the Shadow of Tumakan, which is a reward from TOA. It uses soul runes as its charges. Around this time I made enough GP so I could comfortably buy the dark bow, which helped speed the process up a marginal amount. I think it's also worth mentioning that if you have an Iron Man, it's totally worth trying this out, especially if you're in the early to mid game. You get so many runes, the arrows are super useful, so many alks and resources like raw sharks, herb seeds, ores, coal, and uncut gems. You also get straight up GP too, so I highly recommend trying this minigame out. Even if you're not boosting, just playing it regularly, you can get a decent amount of points per hour. So whilst I'm opening up more crates in the background, I'd just like to give a massive thank you to everyone who has checked out these videos so far and subscribed. The support is crazy. I've gone from 50 subscribers to over 11,000 in the space of just 2 months. I'm hoping to get these videos out quicker for you this year. I've just been busy with Christmas, my job, spending time with my family, as I'm sure a lot of you have been too. I have the next Completionist episodes planned out already, and they are some bangers. I won't go into detail here as I'm planning on making a separate video where I talk about my plans for the Completionist account, my channel, and future plans, including potentially streaming. So keep an eye out for that one, as I'm really wanting some feedback from you guys. Also, if you are enjoying the video so far, a like on the video would really help me out. Anyway, I'm now at 12,000 zeal, which is the drop rate for the pet, and I still don't have it. Even though I was selling off all of my loot, I decided to hoard my pure essence, as I know a friend I have in game likes to collect them. He has well over 60 million pure essence at this point. He's a madman. At this point, I could buy back some of the gear I sold off previously. I decided on getting back the obsidian plate legs and whip, as it's going to help me out a little bit with Hespori and my plans after Soul Wars. It was at this point I got my second collection log slot from Hespori, being the Atta seed. Not normally worth mentioning, but it's a log slot. Also around this time I was getting back into doing birdhouse runs. I managed to get to the hunter level to do magic birdhouses, but I didn't have the crafting level, so I trained that and sold off the bird nests I gathered to help fund it. Blue d'hide bodies are pretty cheap and quick XP. I was also making sure to do a quick farm run every now and then. I should really start planting other trees along with the mahoganies. On one of the Hespori kills I did, my DDS started to pop off and it unlocked me some nice combat tasks, being Speed Trialist and Hespori Adept. I thought getting one of the speedrun times in my gear was actually pretty decent. Back to Soul Wars now, I'm starting to wonder when I'll actually get the pet. A few people guess that I go double or even triple the drop rate. Normally on a pet grind that would really demotivate me, but the money that I was earning kept me going. However, this then happened. Okay, first 10 of the day. Oh! Oh my god, I actually got it! Oh my god, I got it! 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 Ah, finally! Finally! Oh my god! Ah, ah, oh, thank god! Oh, 527. I didn't go too dry. Oh, that's so good. What do I get my last crate? Tell me it. Oh, could have got back-to-back pet then. Oh, hell yeah. Oh my god. Okay, how much money did I make? I think I had about 12 mil, so I made 38 mil? Went from 79 to 84, almost 85 range. I think we got a HP level as well. I think we got a HP level. Not too far off a mage level either from all the telegrabs that I was doing.
He looks heavy.
He looks heavy. Oh my god, Tara.
No, like he's got armor.
That's rude.
He's got really heavy armor.
He looks heavy.
Like that.
He looks heavy. I then also bought the Ectoplasmator, which was another log slot. Apologies for the extra window in the bottom there, I was showing a friend on Discord how to do the method. I'm sure you'd like to see the loot, so here's me selling off the bulk of the items that I acquired. Keep in mind throughout the clips you just saw I was restocking my scales and amethyst darts, which did end up costing me a fair amount. In total though, I ended up making around 38 mil profit. I think for future episodes I'm going to have Runelight set up so that it tracks all loot so I can show it off properly. I currently have it set up so that it just resets each time I open the game. So we aren't finished here either. We've got Soul Wars done, but what's next? Well, for a start, the Christmas event was on, so I had to get that done. It was really fun actually. I think the J-mods are doing a great job with these seasonal events. With this being a new account, I unlocked all of the past rewards too, and there were dozens of them. After that, my next goal was to carry on with questing. Now, yes, I do have the quest cape, but I actually had a ton of mini quests to finish, which had some important unlocks. The first being Mage Arena 1. This doesn't take very long, and I really enjoy it as it's one of those iconic parts of RuneScape. I then wanted to complete Into the Tombs, which is unlocked after doing 1 Tombs of a Mascot run. I decided to use this opportunity to ask people in my clan if anybody wanted to learn it so that I could teach them. Teaching raids and PvM in general is something that I've done for a few years now, and it's really rewarding watching someone go from just, killing Bandos for their first time to trying out Inferno. So you'll see a lot of this throughout the series. Did anyone get anything nice?
Whatever. Yes, the thread.
You got thread?
Thread.
Nice one, T-Cree. Nice. After TOA, I decided to upgrade my Dark Light into an Arc Light. I then decided to get myself the Soul Bearer, which also finishes another mini quest. I made sure to permanently unlock the Fairy Ring in Arceus. Now, after completing the Soul Bearer mini quest, I saw a mini quest in the list called Hope Spear's Will. And I have to be honest, I didn't even know that there was another mini quest linked to the Land of Goblins. When I looked at the rewards for this mini quest, I was actually really surprised because it gives about 40,000 prayer XP, which is extremely nice. You essentially have to kill the 6 undead goblins again and bury their bones in Ubelisk, or however you pronounce it. Anyway, this also got me a prayer level. The next mini quest was Enchanted Key. This is a short one where you have to dig in random places around Gielinor for treasure. I also dug up the Lumbridge Swamp zombie head during this too. As a completionist, there are so many small niche things that I'm gonna have to get done in this game. Once that one was done, it was time for Family Pest. Essentially, after the Family Quest, try saying that 10 times fast, you talk to all of the brothers and pay 500k to get the ability of owning all gauntlets at once. I just kept the cooking gauntlets and goldsmith gauntlets. Now, you may be thinking, okay, but you only completed Mage Arena 1. What about Mage Arena 2? Well, that was the next goal. I had to unlock the ability of using all spells outside of the arena, so I did that first. Luckily, didn't see any PKers or Skull Trickers whilst doing this. After that, it was time to fight the Mage Arena 2 bosses. Honestly, I love these boss models, especially the Justiciar and Zamorakian Demon. The fights are pretty cool too, and luckily I didn't run into any PKers doing this either. For some reason, my Saradomin and Zamorakian bosses were in the same spot. I don't ever remember ever seeing this happen before, so that was interesting. Anyway, after defeating all of the bosses, I claimed my first imbued cape, but of course, being a completionist, we can't just settle on 1 cape. We have to go back and kill all of the bosses again and claim all 3 capes instead. After that was done, we only had 2 mini quests left, the Frozen Door and In Search for Knowledge. For this, I'm going to need to imbue a salve amulet. For In Search of the Knowledge, you have to grab 4 pages of each tome in the 4th host dungeon. I already had some from when I was killing temple spiders back in episode 1, but not enough to finish the quest. So I decided I would kill undead druids for the remaining pages. These guys have a chance of dropping the Mask of Renewal and also drop hard clues fairly consistently. Unfortunately, I didn't get the mask this time, but I did get a couple of hard clues. If you're wondering what's in the caskets, you're just gonna have to watch to the end of the video to find out what I'm doing with them. Next up was the Frozen Door. For this, you need to kill all of the God Wars generals for key fragments that combine into a key that opens the door to Nex. So I went out in the wilderness and grabbed a couple of ecumenical keys that were also collection log slots. I then decided that Commander Ziliana would be my first victim. I did most of my KC here on the main account with a T-bow, so trying to do this with a rune crossbow really put into perspective how weak I am at the moment. After that, it was time for Krill. I didn't prepare super well for this, I just wanted it over and done with, so I just grabbed a quick inventory of restores and combo food and took him down. I already had the key piece from Bandos, which I killed in episode 2, so the last one I needed was the key piece from Armadil. After slapping each other around for 5 minutes, I got the last key piece that I needed to assemble the key. I opened the door, and there we are. One of the final bosses in the game has been unlocked. Not only that, but I finished every single quest and mini quest. I took this opportunity to celebrate by going straight back to Tears of Guthix, unlocking me 60 rune crafting. For Tears of Guthix, it always selects the skill that you have the lowest level in, so because rune crafting was tied with fletching now, I decided to put fletching up to level 70. After that, I did a birdhouse run and got 79 hunter as well as 1775 total. Getting close to 2k total now already, which is pretty awesome. I'm sure some of you are curious how my AFK goal of obtaining all Castle Wars rewards is going, and well, I have over 3,000 tickets now, which means I've put in around 370 hours into this small goal. Earlier, Earlier I spoke about the clue caskets, and for that let me just give you a quick bank update. We've got some real nice gear across all styles, a dragon pickaxe, and we actually have some money to do stuff with. But the most important thing I want to show you is this. I'm going to call this the dopamine tab. I'm going to grow these stacks of items into insane amounts and then open them all at once. I'm not going to say when that will be, so you'll just have to subscribe to find out. So here are the stats at the beginning of the episode, and here are the stats at the end of the episode. We've made some insane progress as usual, but in the next episode we are going to be focusing solely on the collection log and at least doubling the amount of log slots we have already, along with other side goals. That next episode should be on screen, but if it's not, it's going to be the subscribe button so that you don't miss out. I really hope you guys have a great 2023.